right, we are going to be talking about focusing on your code, not your infrastructure, and about cloud computing. Da, da, da. There we go. My name is Martin Omamder, and I was born and raised in Sweden. This clicker is not working very well. There we go. I worked. I'll be over here. Why don't I be over here?
Okay,
yeah,
sure.
That'll be great. I lived in Silicon Valley for 19 years. I worked at 3 different startups as a software engineer before coming to Google. I've been at Google for 12 years. My last job before becoming Cloud Developer Advocate was taking care of you guys. It was an amazing 5 years working with supporting Google developer groups in North America. I love it. I love it. We'll be around I'm really looking forward to happy hour tonight as well. My current job at Google, though, which I've had for about a year, is that of a Cloud Developer Advocate. 2 jobs in that one position. One is to tell you about Google Cloud Platform. The other one is to listen to you and hear why you're using Google Cloud Platform. Why aren't you using it? How can it be improved? And I'm hoping to do lots of both here today.
And I'm not as exciting. My name's, you may not cheer for any of the things on this slide, it's okay. My name's Zoe Omamder. I've lived in Silicon Valley my whole life. I play the, okay, you're cheering because you feel bad. Thank you very much. I play the guitar and ukulele. If you catch me being angsty in a corner playing my uke, just ignore me. I am Martin's daughter. All of you obviously know him. He's great. This is really increasing my self-esteem. Please stop. It will all plummet very soon. Okay, I'm an online student, and I'm... Yes, and you may groan at this one, whatever you want. I'm also a YouTuber. I know, very annoying.
YouTube.
What about Instagram? Influencer.
Yes, sure. Let's go with that. Okay, so here we have an example. Beth is our developer in this example. She has a mission to spread joy to the world, and she decides to do that through her startup called Ingest. You will understand why that's very funny in a second. So what Ingest is Alice, a user, sends a text message to a number and gets a joke back. I know, very, very funny joke. Let me check my note cards. I don't know what I'm doing up here. Anyways, so how this is a very complicated system, right? Very, very many boxes, too many for anyone to ever count, you know.
I counted them. I stayed up last night. I counted them. Wikipedia system takes 27 boxes to run. Boxes is a scientific measurement.
Very, very scientific. So obviously, Beth doesn't really want to do that.
Some are clouds and some are cylinders. They're not all boxes.
Oh, right. Are you a cloud architect?
Beth doesn't really want to do this, so she creates a system with only 2 boxes. Is this even possible? We will find out. So what this is Beth sends a text message through an SMS gateway, such as Twilio. Twilio calls the microservice that Beth created, and the microservice will send back a text message over to Alice, which is a joke. I'm mixing up what I'm doing. So how might you code this?
Right, so she wants to go serverless. She does not want to have 27 boxes and cylinders. So she wants to go totally serverless, not have to deal with managing servers and patches and virtual machines. She decides to use Google Cloud Functions. Those she can write in JavaScript, which is very familiar to her. Let's have a look at the code. Beth would start by importing some Twilio libraries. These are just for helping out with putting together the response. Then she would export a function. This is the main function that Twilio will call. Here we put together an SMS response, put the joke inside the SMS response, and return the SMS response in XML format, because for some reason XML is what Twilio likes. And we are done. Amazing.
So amazing. But are we missing something, perhaps?
Something is missing. What would happen if we try to run this code? Get joke not found. That's right. And the reason that Beth doesn't want to show this code is that she's a little self-conscious about the code in get joke. So, okay, let's have a look at it. Please don't judge. This is not going to win any beauty contest, this code. Can you see where this is going? Yes, this is a hard-coded array of excellent dad jokes. So, a full 3 dad jokes in the service. There's the actual get joke function here. It picks a random array, index in the array, and it returns it. And now version 0.1 of the system is working.
But you might spot a problem here like I did, so let's look a little closer. As you see over here, there are only 3 jokes, and as you might know from a system, I actually have no idea, you cannot run a system with 3 jokes, can you, Beth?
No.
No, so Beth hires a writer, Charles. Charles writes a bunch of jokes, which is great, but he goes to Beth. Beth, I came up with this amazing joke about Germans.
Germans, people.
So amazing. So she's like, okay, she writes into the system, deploys it, he comes back 10 minutes later. Beth, please take that joke out. We're getting horrible feedback. The Germans hate it.
Mental note, probably not put jokes in about a particular ethnicity, nationality, anything like that. Stay away from that.
Just a life lesson.
Yes.
But she has to go back in, delete it, deploy the system again, and this happens a few times an hour. She really does not want to do that. She wants to improve the rest of the system. So is there an easier way to do this?
Yeah, she could, of course, write an admin application there, a web app for Charles to use. So she could whip something up in Vue or Angular, React, maybe one of those. It will take a week, maybe another week to sort out the bugs, and she would create something where Charles could create, read, update jokes. But she doesn't want to spend all that time working for an app that only one person will use. And it's an employee, too. It's not even externally visible. And then she realizes somebody has already written an admin interface for tabular data that is multi-user aware and that is fully web-enabled. And that company is going to fix any bugs that are discovered in it. What user interface are we talking about? Oh, all kinds of things. We had WordPress, good guess. Sheets, exactly, Google Sheets. Beth decides to replace herself with the Google Spreadsheet. Now, I know this is kind of small and you can't read all of the excellent dad jokes here, but my daughter loves these, so she's going to read out her favorite dad joke to you.
Okay, well, that's a little wrong. I actually like good jokes, so not dad jokes, but I do know that your favorite is number 10.
That is true. What is so good about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag is a big plus. Yeah. Should I read out all of them?
No.
Oh, okay.
We only have 30 minutes.
All
Otherwise,
right.
you are free to read out all of the amazing jokes.
Come and ask me for dad jokes during happy hour tonight.
Oh, no.
So she replaces herself with a spreadsheet. Excellent. And now Charles just goes in and edits the spreadsheet, deletes, updates, does that 5 times an hour, however often he wishes. And Beth is not in the content deployment loop. No developer, none of us want to be in the content deployment loop.
But, I mean, Beth doesn't, wait, no. How would you code this?
Ah, right. So, of course, the code would have to be different. Let's have a look. It would, we'd have to start by importing some Google APIs here. Then we get joke would be an async function. We do auth here on spreadsheets, pull in the spreadsheets API. Do some boilerplate code here. Here's actually values.get. We will, what data, if you're asking for a piece of data from a Google spreadsheet, what parameters do you need to send to Google? Any guesses? Cell, rows, columns? Sheet ID, very good. Oh my gosh, you know this already. So excellent. Yeah, the sheet ID, that's that long ID that's up in the address bar. And then we need to move a little faster. Then it's the cells here. Then we do an actual little cool thing here. We convert a two-dimensional array to a one-dimensional array. And then we have our old friend getting a random index and returning a joke.
Yes, that is absolutely amazing. But as you see here, there could perhaps be a problem. See, Charles is great at writing a bunch of jokes or plagiarizing them, whichever. But, I mean, he plagiarizes tens of jokes, hundreds of jokes, thousands of jokes.
What?
Millions of jokes.
Whoa.
I know, right? Very, very fun. He doesn't leave his house. Anyways, but you see, there could perhaps be a little problem here, and that problem is it could sometimes get a little slow. So we want to fix that, right? So how might we fix that?
Yeah, so it turns out that somebody has created a spreadsheet replacement technology already. And this technology is optimized for dealing with tabular data, lots of it, and super fast. What's this technology? Fox Pro, yeah. Lots of good responses here, yeah. BigQuery, yeah, we could do that if we have millions of jokes, yeah. Perhaps we don't have quite millions, but a database would be. We're going with big, okay.
Billions of jokes, people.
Then we'd better have BigQuery. Salesforce. She knows SQL, so she's really comfortable with SQL, so she puts Cloud SQL in there. There are about half a dozen different databases within the cloud platform. You can choose a NoSQL or SQL, whatever flavor you're comfortable with. So she puts that in, problem solved.
That's amazing. How might you code this one then?
Let's have a look at the code. So she would start out by declaring a get joke, then create some SQL code here. This is order by rand, limit 1, is amazing code, a very efficient SQL statement for pulling out a random statement out of a random row out of a table. I did not write this. I looked it up on Stack Overflow, like all of you do. And then just run the query and return the result, and we're done.
Well, that is absolutely amazing, but I hear you guys maybe saying, or maybe Beth is saying, that there could be a few problems here, or we need someone to get the numbers, right? We need someone to ask the questions to get the numbers.
To optimize the service, yeah.
Exactly. So, now it's my turn for funny glasses. Now, Beth hires a very lovely analyst, Daphne. Daphne asks questions like, when are users most active? After which jokes do they request more jokes? And who are the most and least active users? All of that, right? She has no one to ask. Absolutely no one. So she asks Charles over here, our funny little guy who writes manically in his little black book, right? And see, he has no idea. He doesn't know what this is. He's just writing his dad jokes. So she goes up to Beth and asks, Beth, please, can you write something so I can ask my questions and get my answers and write in the statistics? Is there something such as that we can do?
Yes, Beth is thinking, sure, we could put some extra code here in the microservice to insert some data in an analytics database that then Daphne would own. But then she starts thinking, what if Daphne renames a column in that database? What if the connection string is wrong? What is, God forbid, the analytics database is down? Then this whole service will be down. We'll take down the whole microservice with it, and Alice won't get any jokes. This is terrible. Also, you know how it is. You write a piece of code. It's nice and tight. We just saw it, right? It's really short and easy. And then somebody from the business side asks you to just add this one little thing. And somebody says, just a little if statement as well. You know, we're going to do some conditionals here. And somebody else says, oh, actually, just for the CRM system, we would like a little thing. And before you know, the code is as long as your arm, and nobody dares touch it because it touches every part of the system. So what is needed here is something that won't slow down the main microservice, won't take down the main microservice, and will keep Daphne's developers and Beth's developers, their teams apart. And so they don't have to talk to each other all the time and can't break each other's systems. How do you do that? Any thoughts? WordPress.
That's my job.
WordPress, yeah, perhaps it can be done. I heard Stackdriver too, good guess. There is another thing.
Yeah,
Drupal. Asynchronous processing. We could put in PubSub there. So we have an asynchronous call. So Beth would just publish something to the PubSub bus. PubSub is part of the cloud platform. And then Daphne's team would write code to listen to that message, and it would be completely asynchronous. And if Daphne's box up there breaks, the microservice won't break. Also, if there are other teams in the future, marketing team, CRM team, etc., they can listen to the same messages. Let's see what the code would look like. We'd start by defining publish PubSub message here. Just putting the data together. This is the data that will go out on the bus of PubSub. Then define a PubSub instance, do some JSON thing and buffer here and there, and just package up the data and then publish it on PubSub. So this is fairly small and contained. And now any number of other cloud teams within the company can listen for these messages that are published like this. Next, how do we, Daphne, listen to these? Well, the code for that is actually pretty straightforward too. She would create a function that gets a message, unpack it, a little bit of JSON and base64 and this sort of thing. Then she would define the row, create a BigQuery object here, pick out the table and the row, and insert it, and we're done with that coding example. And we now have a working system.
That's absolutely amazing. But we hear it can be expensive, right? I mean, is this system great?
Some people say serverless is expensive, yeah.
Right? Yeah. So how much would this all cost for being serverless and being less than 100 lines of code, being so amazing? A bunch of green boxes, but there are very few green boxes. They're green boxes. I mean, they're amazing, you know? So would this cost too much?
Well, Beth is worried about this because, you know, if she gets a lot of traffic, this could end up costing a lot of money. So she prices it out, and she assumes these various things that are on the board here. Cloud SQL is the most expensive part, actually, between $8 and $55 if she goes with Cloud SQL. If she had been okay with going with a NoSQL database, completely serverless, then it would cost between $0 and $6 per month, depending on how much traffic she gets. Then, of course, there's the Twilio cost as well. You would have to negotiate with Twilio. Twilio is not affiliated with me or Google. You negotiate with them separately. Let's say she gets 100,000 hits the first month. How much would she pay above the data, beyond the databases here, for running BigQuery and Cloud Functions and that stuff, and the Cloud PubSub? Any guesses? Zero. Very good. Okay, that was 100,000. That was easy. 500,000. Still zero. Yeah, 1 million hits. Still zero. Yes, 2 million hits. $2.37. Yes.
You guys are a lot better than our other audiences. We're like 1 million hits. They're like $200.
Yeah. Google should sell to them, not to these guys.
Yeah, you guys need to stop knowing these things. It makes our talk a lot harder and less funny.
WordPress does do everything.
Serverless is really cost effective because at night when nobody's hitting the service, Beth is not paying. She's paying per invocation only, which means that serverless has very nice scaling characteristics.
Well, since it's so inexpensive and so great, does anyone actually use Google SQL? No, Google Cloud Functions?
Yes, that's right. We are seeing three main usage areas for cloud functions today. There are the sort of Internet of Things kind of things, like smart parking, for example. We have all these devices out there saying, this parking spot is available, it's available, this parking spot is still available, it's still available, it's not available. It says, like, calls in every 5 minutes. For that sort of thing, you don't want to have a server that listens to that traffic because it will eventually go down, may not handle the load. The other one is ETL. So this is moving lots of data around within your company. Many use cloud functions for this. Like Turner, they use CNN, they own CNN.com. So CNN.com, obviously lots and lots of web servers, right? All those logs need to go to one place so that the people at CNN.com can analyze them. They use cloud functions for that, to feed them into one place. They could retire a whole fleet of machines that was just copying logs around. Also, smart conversational apps, like companies like Guesswork and Incentro. Whenever you talk to a Google Home, chances are pretty good that you're actually using Google Cloud Functions behind the scenes. It's request response, the Cloud Functions works very well for that use case.
That is absolutely amazing. Now we are actually going to ask you to do two things. I know you've just been sitting here drooling, laughing, whatever you want to do, you know.
Don't drool on the hotel chairs. They're very nice. We would have to pay.
Yeah, probably not. But we are going to ask you to do two things now. You don't have to, but it would be nice, and you'll probably get something out of it. First off, we're going to ask you to submit a survey. And if you actually go to this link and submit the survey, you will be entered in a draw to win this Google Home Mini. Yes.
Yeah.
Mini, yeah, it's not just the Google Home, it's the Google Home Mini.
You would also get invited to the alpha version of the next version of cloud serverless products that's not out yet. And you can have a sneak peek at it before anybody else.
So shh, don't tell anyone. So anyways, you can go to this link in your phone, computer, whatever, and you can be submitted to win a prize. I see a lot of people taking photos of this. I hope that you are all going to the link then. And you know, just the survey is a few questions. You'll answer it in a minute or two. And also, you do probably want to test out this system. You probably want to get a dad joke, don't you? So you can actually text a number. And yeah, that's great. So now we will actually be answering a few questions.
Very good.
So the first two people who ask questions will be getting these amazing Google pens. These Google pens are great because, okay, Dan is already running up. They're styluses, they light up the Google logo, and if I can get this back on, I can show you it's also a pen, obviously.
And chocolate coins.
And if you really want a chocolate coin, I see Dan's lining up. Dan, do you want a chocolate coin?
Chocolate coin over pen.
No, both.
You can get both. Chocolate coin, no pen?
No pen.
I'm offended.
Martin, I have a very important question about your glasses.
Yeah?
So are they made so you can read code line by line? That's all I had.
That was amazing.
They're made so you guys don't
love
fall asleep during the talk, actually.
I thought that was amazing.
Line by line.
That was all of it.
Sharif from GDG Halifax. I wanted to know if you can batch publish subscriptions, like PubSub adding. Can you batch that request?
Yeah, you can,
Pen or chocolate coin, either.
what you would do
Or both.
is publish.
I don't know.
What you would do is you could create the PubSub instance, basically opening the connection to it, and then publish many at the same time. Yes, so yes, you can do it. And then, but what's really cool is on the receiving end, you probably don't want to batch, because you don't want to have retry logic and all that hard stuff. I got 20 things, I managed to do 13, how do I retry? On the receiving side, you want to pick them up one by one, so your code is super simple.
Thank you.
All right.
Over here.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
Joseph.
Let me just jump off the stage really quick. Okay.
Thank you for taking
More fun.
my question.
Either or both.
Not both? I can get both?
Yeah.
That's sweet. Can I get all these?
Not all of them, but you can get 2 if you
Okay.
want. If you really, really want.
That was not an option.
So, your presentation today
I'm not playing
was
favorites.
brilliant. Brilliant. I really want to applaud your presentation. This is great. I mean, your delivery, everything. Number 1, are these slides available so that I can replicate this presentation?
Yes, if
That actually leads to my question number 2. I couldn't possibly replicate your charisma and frankly, the chemistry that you two of you have on stage. Please come to my meetup and make this presentation.
Where's your meetup?
I need a commitment right now, Nashville, Tennessee. Any day of the month, any month of the year, you're welcome. That's all.
Thank you. My new job is actually to talk to developers and listen to developers. I would love to come to GDGs and talk more about serverless. So email me email me actually, because I will forget what is said during happy hour tonight. But I love being invited, and I love coming and speaking with folks in your groups. That's my job. And for the slides, if you entered your email address in this bit.ly link here, in that form, you will get the slides later today. Hendrix.
Yes. People have told me that you're handsome and smart, just so you should know. I just came for this.
That's fair enough.
Very good. It looks like the time is almost up. We will go over to the Wheel of Names.
Make her spin it.
Ah,
Well, you see, that's actually the plan. And if anyone wants a
There
chocolate
we
coin,
go.
I can throw it at you, by the way.
all right. So how does this work? How does it start?
Well, actually, this doesn't work by a simple click like it looks like it does. It works by drum roll. So if you all follow my dad's instructions here, you do a
Right,
drum roll.
And drum roll.
Drum roll.
Who's gonna win?
Dan, I see you too. Do a drum roll.
Dan,
Let's see.
undefined. What? This is amazing.
Okay.
This is the first time it has ever happened. We will do this.
Okay, we need a
We will-
stronger drum roll, obviously.
Obviously.
Come on, no!
Come on, ready? I swear, if undefined wins again. Here. Do you want chocolate coins? No? Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your attention. See you at happy hour tonight.